But before we move on to AEW, I got to ask you this. I did reference this last week before we went on like an hour tangent about everything else on like the issues with the WWE booking right now. With Adam Cole specifically, we talked about Karrion Kross. He's only been there for a couple weeks. I'm not going to say he's dead in the water by any means. It's not looking good, but he's not dead in the water. But I've said this before. If a guy like Karrion Kross gets called up, what does that say for the future of a guy like Adam Cole? If Karrion Kross can't get called up and get pushed from the get-go, I think Adam Cole's fucking doomed. I don't think he's getting called up to be a star, maybe not even a mid-card champion. He'd probably get called up, would have a couple of matches, and then end up like Angel Garza on main event, to be completely honest with you. I really do not see them doing much of note with him at all on the main roster. I could be wrong. It could be one of those things where it's like, oh, just give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, whatever, at least you could say that you did it. But the timing of his contract expiring reportedly right during SummerSlam weekend, which is around TakeOver 36, could not be more perfect. Because this Kyle O'Reilly feud is culminating at that point. They've continued this feud for a reason. I think, as I've said for 6 months now, it's going to end with a loser leaves town match at TakeOver. Adam Cole's obviously losing. But the real question is he going to Raw or SmackDown? Or is he going elsewhere? Is he going to AEW? If he doesn't go to the main roster and he leaves, I mean, I guess he can go back to Ring of Honor for a little while or somewhere else, but it would probably be AEW. I mean, AEW would be dumb to not snatch this guy up. We talked a little bit about it before we went live here. Would he get lost in the shuffle? I think there's a big chance of that, especially as the roster gets bigger. I've said that before. To me, he feels like a WWE guy in that he's the perfect guy to throw out there and do media. I mean, you, Mr. Marceau, were not a big indie wrestling fan. You didn't watch much of it years ago, but you knew of Adam Cole. You wanted to see him in WWE, and he's had an amazing run in NXT. But it's time for him to move on. Like, I don't want to see him become a Gargano or a Ciampa where he's there for too long, and it's just like, okay, cool. I mean, they have their own issues for being there, but like Cole, I think has way more to offer. He's younger. I think at this point, the further along we go here, the likelier it is that he leaves. So I got to ask you, Mr. Marceau, what would you rather see? Him go to the main roster, sign the new contract, he's there for a few years, and either they release him or he's just miserable for 4 years, and there's a very good chance he gets fucked up as far as the booking goes? Or would you rather see him explore other ventures elsewhere and go to an AEW and maybe try his hand there, maybe get lost in the shuffle, but have more of a chance at success in a company like that?
It's tough because I feel like if Bryan and Punk weren't coming in, I would say AEW. But the fact that they're allegedly going to go there,
Cole could be a heel, though, to be fair. He can come in as a heel, and I don't know if that would affect him too much.
Yeah, but I just feel like there's so many heels as it is, though.
Yeah.
I don't really know. If he came in as a heel, like, there are guys for him to work with. I just feel like once those guys, like a Daniel Bryan or CM Punk come in, I mean, they're bigger stars than Adam Cole are. They're at a whole nother level, so it's tough. I mean, honestly, like, dream scenario, which probably wouldn't happen, like maybe sign like a 1-year deal with WWE, try the main roster out. If it's not going the way he wants it to go, then book there. But I feel like if they're going to re-sign him, it'll probably be like a multi-year deal, like you said, to kind of get him under contract. But it's tough because I feel like, yeah, his girlfriend works for AEW, so like that would be nice. But like, I feel like he is a WWE guy, like you said. At the end of the day, like, yeah, Karrion Kross isn't getting put over, but I do think he does have flaws. Whereas Adam Cole, I think, like, he basically is flawless besides his height. That's basically his biggest flaw, unfortunately. Like, he can do everything else, and maybe that's why he never succeed on the main roster. But I think, yeah, I think I'd rather see him fail in WWE and go to AEW than go to AEW and get lost in the shuffle and really not pan out the way we think he's gonna.
Do you think it sends more of a message, though, in that we've never seen anyone get to the heights that a guy like Cole has in NXT and then leave? Like, it has been commonplace it's been such a formula for so long now for you to win the NXT championship. Obviously, he won it 2 years ago, but it works a little differently now. Most people's runs in NXT last for more of a year, 2 years at most. He's been there for 4. The entire Undisputed Era has been there for 4 or 5 years. Obviously, he's got to move on. I think he has more to offer elsewhere at this point. But it's always been commonplace for you to win the NXT title and then get moved up. And a lot of those people have done well. You know, Nakamura is not at the heights that he should be, but he's a solid upper mid-card guy. He's had a lot of mid-card titles, tag titles. He's been okay. You know, a guy like Bobby Roode, was he ever the big deal that he should have been? No. Kevin Owens succeeded. Owens has been doing okay, or Sami Zayn's been doing okay. Balor's done fine for himself as well. I just feel like at this point, though, if he were to get all the success that he did in NXT, and then to say, fuck you guys, I'm out of here, to me, that is a big indictment on the main roster, because I think he sees the writing on the wall before he even gets there. We've seen people quit NXT before. I mean, Sami Callihan being one of them, he wasn't going anywhere fast, so he probably made the right call there. There's a lot of people that have quit NXT, but I don't think we've ever seen a case of someone being the face of NXT and then leaving before ever getting to Raw and SmackDown. I don't think we've ever seen that before. I mean, obviously, Velveteen Dream,
I also think the situation's a totally different. This is a total different ball game at this point. Like with AEW, clearly he's friends with all those guys. His wife works there. It's a total. I think it's in like. Say that he was a face of like when those guys were a face of NXT, there wasn't really anywhere else you could really go anyways. Like, what's Shinsuke going to go to TNA or Ring of Honor or is that the New Japan? All those guys were basically getting promoted.
They didn't really have a choice. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, so this one is a little bit different. I think he also has more outside circumstances than most people do. Like, he obviously is friends with the Young Bucks and Kenny, and he was in the Elite and the Bullet Club and all that garbage.
Garbage.
I knew you'd like that one. I had to throw the garbage comment just to pop GSM.
As I wore my Bullet Club shirt. I do own. I'm not wearing it now. I do own one though.
Yeah, we know.
I bought it the day that I met Adam Cole, like 5 years ago, at a Ring of Honor show.
Terrible. So I think he has more circumstances. Like, and I think a lot of people like forget. It's like if he goes to the main roster, like they're gonna potentially start running house shows again, and they travel a lot. AEW, it's still been like a once a week kind of thing, maybe twice a Rampage, but it's in the same city that it seems like they'll be in the same area or city that they're going to do Dynamite. He'll be with his wife or girlfriend, with his friends. I think it's a lot easier for him to go, and I bet you AEW will throw a ton of money at him. So it's not like I think he'll go to AEW, unfortunately, and I think I'd rather see him test the main roster, see it's not going to work out, and then move. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would say he's going to AEW.